What a week, what a week, what a week. And it's only Thursday, y'all. I cannot believe it's only Thursday and the news has been newsing, the chaos has been chaosing, the confusion has been confusing. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. We are going to continue our conversation from earlier today. So if you missed the live earlier today, go ahead and check it out. I'll try to add it at the end of this video once it finishes rendering. But yeah, we are in a whirlwind. This is what we would call a whirlwind. And whew, let's brace for it. If you guys saw the title of this video, it's Tariffs, Apple, FDA freeze, which should say Health and Human Resources. So forgive me for that. I misspoke also earlier in the video, but Curlfest, the Census, the BET platforms or the BET events that some of us have known to or grown to come in, known to love, let's just say that. What is it? The Soul Train Awards, as well as the Hip Hop Awards, and of course the Black Jobs. And that's what we talked about earlier, but we did not get into a few other items, which included the coming after Barack Obama, also the announcement about SNAP benefits. Also, he's coming hard after his list. Gail King is on that list, and she had some light words to say about it. And just also talking about how these areas impact us as a community. And it's time for us to find solutions. And so, before we get into all of the things, all of the topics, I first want to introduce myself. Hey, everyone, what's up? I am Kim, AKA Kim with the Gems. And on this channel, we talk all things wellness, travel, and money from a cultural perspective, from a cultural point of view. And the changes that are happening now in our land of the free, home of the brave, are culturally relevant, are going to impact us as a community and a culture. And so, if you are not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. We are on our quest to 50,000 members, and I'm putting it out there before the end of this year. As you see, things are just ramping up, and we're going to need to be in as many communities as possible. Last week, I shared some communities that I am part of that I highly recommend you looking into. So go ahead and check out that video from last week. I will add it to the Stay Ready 2.0 playlist. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, we need to be in community, and we also need to share what we learn, right? So in the community, we're not just observing or sitting on the sidelines. We are active participants, and I want us to, if you see something, say something. It's really that simple. I am also shouting out people who are sharing with me their moves that they are making in the Stay Ready So You Don't Have to Get Ready protocol. And that will be happening a few times a week. So you'll see me shouting some of you guys out who have already shared information. But if you have taken action, if you have been about that action, go ahead, put it in the comment section, and I will add you to the list as well. And also, one of the first links in the description is for you to sign up for our newsletter. Because what if this goes away, right? This whole platform or channel goes away. We still need to know how to communicate with each other. So the first link in the description is the new newsletter that will be going out regularly, and it's on It's on the same platform, but under a different account. So I need you, even if you think you are signed up for the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter, because you're not, unless you did it within the past week or two, and downloaded the free resource to Black-owned news channels or Black-owned media. So go ahead, re-sign up so that we can stay connected, we can stay in community. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, share this information with a friend, turn on your notifications. This way we had a pretty good turnout this afternoon. I was surprised because it was kind of last minute notification and you guys were in the house. And so I appreciate you for that. I'm going to say hi to some people and then we're going to get into tonight's topic. Hey, Moni, welcome back. Moni was there earlier today. Good to see you back. Hey, Cynthia, good to see you. And OG Jim Stone. Hey, Tanya Brooks, good to see you back again. Auntie Wellness Sonia. Hey, she is also part of many of the communities in the Gym Nation family. Hey, Siobhan, who is she joined our membership on YouTube, and you too can do that as well. And it's a way, one, to support the channel. It's also a way to get some first looks for some videos that drop before I share with everyone, if they get shared with everyone. Hey, Just One, another OG member in the house. Good to see you, LB. What's up, Laura? Good evening. Yes, another OG. And Miss G, good to see you back in the building. Hey, Dante. Dante been around for a while. Good to see you back in the building. And Tony, listen, let's give Tony a round of applause because I believe it is 5:12 a.m. where he is in the motherland. And Tony, go ahead. And I know I saw your comment, but I wasn't able to do the research on it yet. So feel free to drop some jewels in the comment section about the changes that you shared with me in the comments earlier. But yeah, so I don't even know where to start, y'all. It's definitely Dante with his round of applause, and Auntie Wellness Sonia as well. That I love that. I love that commitment to community. So yeah, so I wanted to just again do another rundown, but kind of highlighting ways that we can be impacted. Oh, I did bring a pen. I thought I didn't bring a pen. Thank you, Jesus. Because I need to check these off the box as I go through them. But let's just go through some of the things. So I'll start off where I didn't have much intel earlier, and that is with the $500 million cuts to Health and Human Resources as it relates to, getting, I don't even know if I could say the word without this thing being all thrown off. But, if you need, to get protection, they used to call it like a JAB. But Mr. Kennedy has announced a $500 million budget cut to Health and Human Resources, specifically, supposedly, as it relates to respiratory illnesses and as it related to some of the newer JABs that were introduced by GATES. But you know what? I don't believe that's it. I find it very suspicious that they are cutting funding as it relates to respiratory illness. At the same time, there are powerful plants related to MUSK, musky dusky, in urban areas that are going to cause, or they know are going to cause illnesses, primarily respiratory illnesses. And these plants are going to go up more frequently as the birth, or not the birth, the continuation, and not just the continuation, the ramping up of artificial intelligence. And so they're not going to put them, in suburbia. They're not going to put them, these plants, in areas that will affect people who have money. They're going to put it in depressed communities, people that really don't have a chance to fight back. And the sad thing is, how will this affect us? Well, we're already predisposed in the area of lung disease and asthma and other, a lot of children, as we know, unfortunately, are a lot of our children, let me be specific. A good percentage of our children are raised in areas where air pollution is dominant. And that affects our health. That will affect our health. And it's not just the children, it's our elderly. It's our young adults, right? Just being exposed to that type of bad air quality does nothing good for our health. And when you start messing with research specifically related to respiratory illnesses, you are messing with poorer people, you're messing with people of color, and tie that in with the loss of, so this is all, listen, I like to connect dots, right? Follow the money and you will get all of the answers. The cuts in Medicaid, which will also impact Medicare. So you're cutting out on the research related to things that could potentially help us as it relates to respiratory illnesses. At the same time, you're expediting the building of these plants that will cause pollution that will make us sicker. At the same time, you are cutting these social programs, i.e. Medicaid, i.e. Medicare, veterans, the veterans VA, or what is it called? The veterans medical benefits, let's just say veterans benefits, all in tandem, all in concert, so to speak. This is not a coinkydink. This is not a coincidence. And how can we be impacted? One, higher illnesses that cannot be addressed because of the high cost of medical treatments that used to be covered under some of these programs, which will be scaled back. Or you will have to sell your soul, child, to be able to participate in some of these programs. And so when it comes to not having these the insurance or the social programs to help you, we can already see premature unalivings, right? And that includes the communities. It primarily includes the communities that are most at risk, and that's communities of colors. It's definitely discrimination hidden, right? It's based on socioeconomics. The more you have, the more money you have, the better you're able to afford healthcare. And the less that you have, you are at risk or at higher risk. And the fact that we are already disproportionately impacted by respiratory illnesses because of growing up in inner cities where pollution is high and this and that, it's gonna, I think even though they're not saying that part out loud, they're focusing supposedly on what Gates, which is also interesting. That's a whole nother topic. I don't want to spend too much time. I don't want to spend too much time on this one topic. But if you think about it, after these JABS were mandated over and over again, and then they found some correlation to heart and respiratory issues, here comes the cuts. So it's going to be very interesting how this ultimately plays out. I smell a rat. I believe there's some sinister things happening. Please feel free to put in the comments section your thoughts about the cuts. But I wanted to start there because we didn't get to talk about that. You can definitely do your own, research as it relates to um, the $500 million cuts, but I smell a rat. And I also think that we have to be very proactive in how we moving forward, right? What we take in, how we protect our health is going to be even more critical now. There's so many more cuts coming, y'all. This is just the very beginning. We've talked about the healthcare cuts. We're talking about the funding cuts. They're going to get worse before it gets better. And as you can see, the train has left the station, and it doesn't look like anyone's able to stop it. Rachel Maddow who I think is, most people think she's brilliant, right? Unless you're not. She did, I think it was Monday, she did a piece, she did a segment on her show. Now, I didn't watch the whole show, but I saw the segment. Someone covered the segment. Oh, Kyle Kulinski. He covered her, and she basically was saying, we are, talking about becoming a fascist country, becoming a country where there's no freedoms. Oh no, we're here. Child, it's not becoming, it's not we're headed there. We are here. And we see that by all of the, let's just say, changes that are being made that no one seems to be able to stop or have a answer for. And so let's just be prepared when it comes to protecting our health. I am going to come on this channel. I started out doing equally weighted health topics, travel topics, and money topics. I've kind of not really covered health recently, but we're going to get back on that train. We need a response to everything that's going on. And so let's talk quickly about SNAP benefits, right? We didn't talk about that earlier either. And then I'll see who's making comments. But let me know if you've heard about the changes to the SNAP benefits, which is taking place in, of course, we know what states. Is already slated to go into law in Texas and I believe Florida. I'm not sure if they've set a date, but it's going to go. So think of the usual suspect states, right? So they're removing junk food from what people who have SNAP benefits can purchase. And wow, if I thought the intention was good and they had a solution, right? So you're going to remove the junk food, the processed foods, the candy. What are you replacing it with? Because in a lot of these areas where these benefits are being used, there's no farmers markets. There's no affordable health food stores. Heck, there's no health food stores. And couple that with the fact that you're taking away free breakfast and free lunch programs in these areas. So getting back to SNAP. SNAP is a benefit for low-income families who, did they used to call it food stamps? They might have used to call it food stamps. I don't know if those are the exact same, so don't quote me on that. But I think food stamps when I hear SNAP. And so I really believe that again, I have mixed feelings because I do believe processed foods and sugar and all of that is not good for us. However, what are you replacing it with? What are you suggesting? What are your recommendations when you talk about what, Michelle Obama was trying to instill in us years ago? making this country be more healthy in these inner cities, in these low income neighborhoods. What are you replacing these foods with? You still have the stores selling it, right? Are you then going to replace it with, apples and bananas? And because a lot of these places don't have the fresh food, the fresh fruits and or vegetables that kids would like. And so, or families would like, period. And so I'm very curious to know how that is going to benefit, especially when you're taking away hot foods that were once part of a child's, what they would look forward to in the day. Okay, don't give me processed food, but can I get some eggs and some toast when I go to school? Or can I get a free lunch? Like, this is so sinister as to what's happening. And so, yes, banning sodas, candy, and junk foods, I can't say that in and of itself is the worst thing. It's not having options. It's not having options. You're restricting choices without increasing access. If you were increasing access to healthier alternatives, healthier food choices, then okay. And so the food deserts are real. If you live in an inner city, if you live in an urban area, if you go through an urban area, if you know anybody in an urban area, food deserts are real. Thank goodness. So I don't want to go off on a tangent. I always have to catch myself because I just really believe that, all of these things are not for the good of the peoples. It's for some sinister reason. So how can we protect ourselves? How can we stay proactive? Listen, if you know someone who's getting SNAP or that will be affected by these changes, help them figure out inexpensive, healthier alternatives. If they don't have access or, Wi-Fi set up at home, print out lists of recipes, right? Help them come up with savory, healthy choices that they may not have access to or may not know about. So many people don't have cable, and can't see the Food Network when they have healthy recipe shows. So many people don't have Wi-Fi and can't stream all day to look this stuff up. So helping something like listen, well, avocado is about to be $1 million if these tariffs to Mexico go through. But find ways that you can teach them or educate the community, or listen, I'm an advocate of starting businesses, and businesses, there's still funding out there for certain businesses. If that is your thing, if you're up to it, finding ways that you can become a a teacher, right? An educator in that field, and finding a company to not the low income people, but a company to pay for you to go around or host what do you like community nights or something like that. So many inner city areas do have community nights and community events, and there's ways to tap into that. I think I told y'all I'm part of Nubia, which is Dr. Greg Carr's educational community, right? There's a sister there last week. She was talking about how, every year she does a back to school, that she's up in Harlem, I want to say. She does a back to school gift, takes over bouncy houses, shows the kids a great time. Well, she's lost funding from the city. And she, is she's still going to have it, but she needs assistance. But like those type of community events would be a great place to offer your services and share, drop gems on how to at the same cost. Like, we're not talking about expensive options because that's not an option, right? But launching, I guess, educational campaigns to help in these communities. And it could be even like flyers or there's easy ways to do it, but that's where your creativity comes in. And so I'm gonna, before we go on to the next one, let me see who is commenting. Yeah, food banks, eBay. You're right. I'm gonna go back up. Food banks are being hit hard, and that has a lot to do with the farming situation as well. It's who child. Remember the folks that sold fruit and vegetables from a truck going from neighborhood to neighborhood. Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't take SNAP, and that's great for people who can afford it, because they still do have that. The fruit has got, listen, you can get you a nice, beautiful watermelon in South Carolina, seeded black watermelon, $6, $8. On the corner, what the Black Seed Brothers are starting at $25 in New York, in Harlem. And you have to search for the black seeded watermelons. And I try to support Black business. So the Black Seeded Brothers, $25 to start for a regular watermelon. That is not doable for the average low income family on a regular basis, right? And so the food trucks would be nice if they were affordable, meaning, back watermelon $6, $8, but not $25, right? Greens would be great. And even me going to farmers markets, I just noticed like the increase of prices. Not so much here in the South yet, but in New York, it has gotten insane. Yeah, food pantries, if we could sustain them, like the only way they'll be able to, hey Linda, the only way we'll be able to sustain the food pantries is through financing, through investing. And even with the churches that used to be a huge resource in the community, with so many people pulling away from actively going to church, which means they're not tithing or giving offerings, it's hard for the churches as well to sustain. So, yes, it's simply evil. Thank you. It was food stamps, supplemental nutrition. Yeah. Thank you so much. I thought it was the same, but I didn't want to, I guess, teach the community to have personal gardens. Where they putting these gardens? Like, that's the thing. Like, I get you. I hear you. But I think as a New Yorker, most New Yorkers don't have outdoor space. And so, and when I say New Yorker, I mean like in the city, like city. So if I'm talking Harlem, if I'm talking Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, that most don't have outdoor space. So the garden part is difficult. Now, they're making it so hard for these community gardens to exist anymore, that used to be managed by the residents, but because these developers are coming in snatching up every corner of real estate and property, it is so difficult. It is so difficult. Thank you, Tony. Replace the food stamp booklets for a debit card. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, natural sugar and fruit. Exactly. If you can find them. So I'm 100% there with you with the gardens, the natural sugars and fruits. There are just barriers there when it comes to, depressed communities. Hey, Miss P, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Don't apologize for being late. Okay. And yeah, I do want to touch on, because Tony shared this in my comments earlier, but I didn't see it till right before I was getting ready to log on. So I didn't get to do any research, but we're going to share some other, and this is what I mean by sharing is caring, y'all. If you see something, you got to say something. That's what makes a community great. That's what I want for this community. Please, 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 if you're not following, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in building community, so that we all stay abreast and we share, like Tony is sharing right here. So he said earlier, This is what he messaged me earlier or put in the comments earlier. Are you aware of the 5 to 15K visa bond requirements for some African countries? Additionally, yesterday, China launched a new international payment system throughout the continent. It allows countries to avoid using the USD for trade. We in danger, y'all. Once China says snip, snip, we in danger. We became way too dependent. And so thank you for sharing that. And I did hear something about the visa bonds that are being required for African some people from African countries to post before they can enter the US, correct? I think that's how I understood it. And it's similar, actually. Well, no, I can't say it's similar. But we're going to talk about some of your African countries, child. I'm about to go. So I'm going to, several countries, including African nations, have faced or may face visa bond requirements for travel to the United States. Yes, I remember that. The U.S. Department has announced a pilot program effective August 20th, 2025, requiring citizens of Malawi and Zambia applying for a B1, B2 visitor's visa, which is tourist or business, to post a bond of up to $15,000. Listen, this is why I love the community, because y'all are going to make sure we know what the heck is going on. And so, why is it being implemented? Well, the U.S. State Department cites high visa overstay rates among travelers from certain countries. Why are they always the African? Why are they always the Muslim African? Including some in Africa, as a reason for implementing these bonds. The bonds aim to deter overstays and encourage stronger screening by foreign government. So that is that on that. And then with China and the payment system. Oh, okay. So it spreads. Oh, okay. So I see. So Africa and Asia, it's a payment system which was first launched in 2015, but it's looking to expand as amid the US trade war. Okay. And so China has signed up entities from Africa, Central Asia, and the Gulf to its cross-border payment system as it hedges against potential US sanctions. So yeah, let's stay ready, child. Let's stay ready. So in addition to, well, as we're talking about immigration and visas, there's also a update to, and I can't remember what it's called, but when you get married and you apply for a visa for your spouse, there are some changes that were just announced. I want to say August 1st for that. That's not even on my list to discuss tonight, but as we're talking about it, if that affects anyone, you know, look it up. They're going to become more strict when it comes to that. What they're saying is, please remember that just because you applied for this marriage or because you received a green card through marriage, you can still you too can be deported, basically. And so that was the latest that came out a couple days ago. So just be aware of that. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the census conversation, because I think that's extremely important for us to know as well. Now, it kind of goes hand in hand with according to my mind, right? According to how I connect dots. When you think about rezoning or redistricting certain counties and towns or whatever, it's supposed to match census results, right? And the next census isn't scheduled for another 5 years. But they're looking to redistrict in a lot of the red states so that the red side can keep and or gain seats in the Senate and keep control, basically. And so you've heard probably about the walkout or the crossing of the border, the crossing of the state line of the Democrats in Texas, so that they don't have to vote, or they can delay this vote for the redistricting, which is going to affect Black and Brown communities. Well, it was just announced that your fearless leader or fearful leader wants to amend the census. He's claiming that it's to rid undocumented immigrants, but we know it's more than that. We know it's more than that. And so, like I said, my goal for this channel is really to, one, keep us informed, but also hopefully find solutions that will help us stay ready so we don't have to get ready, right? So when you talk about the rezoning, redistricting, listen, it's going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be a fight. The only or the main response that we have are the blue states that are willing to turn about is fair play. I mean, the train has left the station and nobody is trying to stop it. It's doing 300 miles an hour. And the closest person trying to catch up to it is probably only running 50 miles an hour. And so we in danger, but knowing is a good part of the battle, right? Again, this may all help you start thinking about what's your next move, right? And your next move, again, may be to another state or it may be to another country. But understanding that you're going to have to start thinking about it depending on where you live and how your state is responding to some of these insane changes that, like I said, are going warp speed. Let's go ahead and get the tariffs. Wait. So we talked about the census and we talked about the redistricting. So let me just also state, when I mentioned you may have to go to another state that's willing, or someplace else that's willing to, eye for an eye. Gavin Newsom is about that life. He's already saying he's ready to go. He's ready. He's on go to do the same exact thing so that the numbers can offset. Now, hopefully, I remember Raz Baraka saying that, hopefully fear won't turn these people into a coward, right? So if there is some fear, if your life is being threatened, if your family is being threatened, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that feels like, but I do believe that, if you have taken the oath to, protect your constituents, then that's what you need to do. And so, anyway, saying all that to say, before we get into tariffs, I do want to go into another government story that, child, and this is Christine in the building. I don't know if I saw her yet, but if she is, you may know a lot about this too. But there is is he the mayor in? He's the mayor in Florida, and it's I want to say Orlando. And he basically came out and said he had to basically cave to the pressures of the governor of the state to allow ICE to basically come and do what they want to do in, oh gosh, what's the name? The name of the town is escaping me. Maybe somebody put it in the chat. But yeah, he has made it clear that child, he let me see if we could play Orlando mayor. No. Was it the Orlando mayor? It was a mayor in Florida caves to ICE. Let's see. Okay, yeah. It wasn't. Okay, so let me see if I could play this. I want to try to get it from another source. I mean, it's just the reason I want to play it is because his whole demeanor spoke volumes. Fear. He's listen. He said, okay, so his name is Jerry. I don't know if I can play it. So let's just go ahead and share the screen. So his name is Jerry Demings. So you can look up the audio from this, but he says, we were put in a tough spot as he caves over fears of DeSantis interference. What he said was, I want our citizens to understand that we will continue to fight for what is right, but we'll do so very strategically. Orlando County Mayor Jerry Demings admitted he felt forced to sign the updated federal immigration agreement because he feared Governor DeSantis would insert his minions into the county leadership, sending the county into chaos. He kind of mentioned that he was threatened to he was going to be replaced, and his whole government, the government under him, his government body was going to be replaced too. And he was like, yes, I signed the damn thing because we really had to. We were put in a tough spot. I can't let our entire board of county commissioners and myself be removed from office. I signed under protest in extreme duress, but I think that it was the right thing at the right time. So basically what he's saying is that he signed because they basically told him if he didn't, he would be gone, and so would the rest of his board of commissioners. And so we're going to see more of that. We're going to see people caving out of fear. Now, he says he's going to still be able to protect, but I don't even get that. Like, how are you able to protect your citizens once you signed the agreement? Like, I don't get it, but unfortunately, we're going to see more and more of our people be impacted and affected by these things because ICE isn't coming after these people. They're not. And so it's just unfortunate that, even our skin folk who knows what's going on, because think Florida, you're thinking a lot of Caribbean immigrants that are also not wanted here that are going to be impacted. It's not just one set of people. And so, child, as I think more and more about, what we're about to witness, it becomes heartbreaking because nobody's, where's the protection? Like I said, the train has left the station and there's nobody there to stop it. So let's continue to talk about immigrants, right? So, or undocumented. We kind of touched base on what Homeboy said on CNBC. Now, let me know if you heard what he said. And when I say homeboy, 47, if you did, let me know if you didn't hear. Put you didn't hear, and that will make me know if I should play it or not. I don't, if you heard about it, then we could just talk it through. If you didn't hear about it, then we can possibly play it. But let me just give a quick summary. Basically, what he was saying was there's a new program that they are going to deport. Dante, you didn't hear. Okay. So let me play it. I'm going to play it from my phone so that, yeah, I'm going to play it from my phone. So there's a new program where he's going to deport, the field workers, the undocumented, or just, immigrants, back to the country where they came from, only to bring them back, but under some rules and regulations. Let me just play it because I literally can't do it any justice. Like, it was absolutely disgusting to hear. Mr. President, okay, hold on. So $9 billion I'm about to play it now. It was in our federal funding that is now being rescinded. This is a good thing for the American.
But Mr. President, I just want to hear you clearly. You're saying that people who have been here for years and who have been even paying taxes, you're going to look at them very differently, and maybe they belong here in the workforce?
I want to work with them, and in some cases, we're sending them back to their country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, did y'all hear that? Did you hear? Did you pick up what that man was putting down? There was also a comment where he talked about, hold on. He talked about, listen, first of all, people in the inner city is code for, we don't want to do it. They tried. But these special people, these very special people, but I did want to share, the references to slave, child. If y'all don't think that this is going to get worse before it gets better, yeah, I got some ice to sell you. There was a comment of this, and I thought I marked it, but this woman said she just lost her favorite uncle because so she was of Hispanic descent, and her favorite uncle was a farmer. He needed so many back surgeries. He was so ill, basically, but couldn't afford the surgeries, couldn't take off time to properly heal. So he had one back surgery, but he needed time to heal. But because the person he was working for would not give him the time, he didn't heal properly. And he's riding on the back of these trucks that are doing even more damage to his back. So long story short, you know what? You can't take off. You're right. Or they just die. You know why they die? Because they can't afford the health care. They also can't afford to take off the time to properly recover. So he wasn't lying about that. But he wasn't, the way he was saying it was it had a whole different meaning. And so, so let's just call it what it is. Indentured servitude. So they're going to have them pretty much sign their life away. And I don't think it's going to be exclusive to, the Hispanics. They also talked about this could be a way for people who need Medicaid or public assistance to basically pay it off. So you work the farms all day or for how many ever hours a week in servitude in order to have health care. Like, how disgusting is that? What can we do? Plan to not have to fall into a category where you will be, one, dependent on being and listen, I'm not knocking people who love to labor, right? There's people who love to farm. There's people who love to, do the things that most people find, like we did our time there, right? But if you have to do that to be able to go to a doctor, and then you go to the doctor tells you you need a surgery, and then the surgery you need to rehab for 4 weeks, and you can't do that, then yeah, plan. If you are financially, if you're living in a way that it's like paycheck to paycheck, and if you lose your job today or tomorrow, you don't have a cushion to find a new one, because we're about to get into the labor reports, the labor statistics, then that's problematic. So I did mention, I'm not even going to talk about it tonight, but I will post it in the community tab probably tomorrow. Also, don't forget, if you weren't here earlier, there's a link in the description. Matter of fact, let me put it in the chat. Go ahead and get on our newsletter, because I will be announcing to the people on our newsletter first. So I won't be posting tomorrow. The newsletter will go out tomorrow about some of the extended communities that we have here in the Gem Nation. And so I want you to be aware of that. I am going to put the link in the chat now. If you've already received the national and local Black news sources, Black-owned news sources, then you're already on the email list. If you have not, then go ahead and put your information in, and you will be notified immediately. Well, tomorrow. I shouldn't say immediately. Here we go. So this is how you get on the email list, and I will be sending out more information tomorrow. But again, planning is going to be the key. You can't make this up. They're not even being quiet about what their plans are. And you need to take them at their word. For a while, people were literally thinking, oh, no, this can't be true. No way is this going to happen. We have a constitution. This is a democracy. We learned just how weak the democracy is and how strong their focus and attention and plans are to get what they said they were going to get done in a I just can't even believe how fast they're getting this done. Okay, let's quickly talk about unemployment. Unemployment growth in the Black community is now at 7.6%, y'all, the highest since the panorama. The negative impacts, y'all should know what those would be, but I'm not even going to go through all of the negative impacts. But financial stability, homelessness, right? Stress and health challenges, healthcare, education. The list goes on and 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 on. And this is by design. This is not a coincidence. And so how can you be proactive? Try to listen. You should always find ways that you can make money outside of whatever your 9 to 5 is. But at minimum, you need to be training, retraining. You need to know what areas are growing, and growing in a way where it's color agnostic, right? They wouldn't care if you are Black, white, or what, Asian, whatever. So finding free resources to start, to get as many certifications that you may have been resting on your laurels, right? You may not have needed to get certifications in, whatever field you are in or what field you want to be in. Get them now. Get them now while you still have access to some of these low cost, no cost free programs. And it makes your stock rise, so to speak. It makes you more of a valuable asset. It gives you more odds to be able to find another job should you lose this job. But always, 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 always have a plan B, C, D when it comes to generating income. This is not working for 50 years and you get a gold Rolex at the end of your time, at the end of your tenure. That those days don't exist anymore. And the average, and I shared this in another video, we are living now in a gig economy. You need to know how to do gigs. You need to know how to use your talents. And I don't care, like I said, if it's white collar, blue collar, red collar, green collar. Find a way for you to generate additional income and start doing that now so you can future-proof your income. One of the courses that's upcoming is future-proofing your portfolio. We are visionaries. We have always been. We just got comfortable and complacent. And now we need to get uncomfortable and uncomplacent. And so, again, I want us to, stay ready. Always have your name out there, right? And when I say always, I'm not talking every week, but even if you have a job right now, start interviewing just to practice, right? Especially if you've been at a job for 10 years or more, 5 years or more. The interviewing game is different now. You don't go into an office anymore usually to meet with people. Everything is virtual. So start practicing. And what's the better way to practice? By doing it with a company that you really don't care if you get the job or not. So start staying ready in all aspects of your life so you don't have to get ready. Because the unemployment rate is going to rise for us. I hate to say it, but it is. But then again, it may not, because this goes into our next thing. Well, it will, but we won't know because he done fired the labor statistics, right? The head of the labor statistics to bring in a loyalist who's going to say whatever he wants them to say. So if our numbers are rising, or if the jobs report numbers are rising, we're not going to know. I mean, the unemployment report is rising. And the reason we're not going to know, because those numbers have a direct correlation with the stock market. They should be honest, they should be true, but all he cares about is how he looks. So he could give a damn on if this is true or honest information. And so with that being said, we may not know how much, since he's already fired this person. The next report that comes out will probably be tainted, right? And so our numbers will continue to rise, but that may not be front page news anymore because he doesn't want that on his name. So let me see what y'all are saying, and then we'll get back to the last couple of items. Okay. Yeah, what they're doing is completely evil. 6 to $12 for melons at the DMV. I'm only laughing because I believe you. I truly believe you. Wait, are you talking watermelons? Black seeded watermelons? Oh, when you said melons, I'm thinking you're talking like honeydew melons or something. If you're able to get $6 to $12, $6 black seeded watermelon, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Unless it's all filled with GMOs and everything else, I do not believe you. You will be the first person who has told me up north, DMV, New York, Jersey, that they were able to find $6 black seeded watermelon. Now, you may be able to find seedless. Yeah, I agree. I believe you. I mean, just one. Hey, I think I said hi to Linda. Balconies, buckets. Girl, who has a balcony? We can tell you don't live in the urban area, child. We can tell you got a house. A lot of people don't have outdoor space. Balconies, are you talking about windowsills? That's about all you gonna get in a lot of places in the tri-state. I mean, well, not the tri-state, in Midtown or Manhattan or Brooklyn. Or years ago, you watched a video filmed in New York. They do have rooftop gardens. Years ago, a lot of those things, there have been so many changes. I don't even know if y'all heard. Sam Champion, Mr. Weatherman, had to take his garden off his patio, off his multi-million-dollar patio. Things are changing. Laws change all the time. Neighbors, gentrification happens. The neighbors get mad at the people who've been there forever doing what they used to do, and it infringes upon them. Child, ain't nothing the same as it was years ago. Very few things, I should say. There will be different. We need to get in our own communities and build strategies. I don't understand that, just one. I think we need to build nationally. I think we need your own community only knows your own community. If your own community is Altadena, then what you gonna do? You see what I'm saying? Like, God bless the people in Altadena, but we need to think bigger than local communities. So I disagree with that. I think we need to be more national. Hell, we need to be global. We need to be global. And that's exactly why I highly recommend Narrative with a K on YouTube, and then join Nubia with a K as part of a Black Global Alliance. Local to me. Here in Illinois, it's all over it. Oh, okay. You're talking about JB. Is that you're talking about the situation with the the situation with the redistricting. Yes, listen, Miss P, me and you. That's what I'm talking about, but again, for those who can't, we need to mobilize outside of what we're comfortable with and find, solutions. That's how our ancestors did it. Like, it wasn't just exactly why I grew up in New York is because my parents were in community with people in New York. Well, my family, I would say, from the South was in community with people in New York and had the opportunity to go to a better life up north because they had community outside of their local community. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, please. I'm going to repost this. Well, anyway, it's a wonky code, but I'm going to repost. This is the newsletter. Join for free. so you can stay updated to what's happening. Oh, Miss P, you're working on your certification so that you can launch your business. So much has fallen through that you didn't have control over. It's so frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating, but you're big. You can do it. You are from a powerful people, and just do whatever it takes to keep that positive energy going, and you'll be okay. Hey, JD, good to see you. Okay, so I don't, yeah, fill out. If you want to fill it out, you can. If you don't, you won't. The whole purpose of building this community is because it's a community and we need to know. Like, A. Lee, I don't even know your name, so I don't think there's really any security issues. But fill it out if you want to. If you don't, it will ask for your city and your I don't think it asks for your address. It should just ask for your state. I'll double check that. So if it does ask for your address, then come back later tonight and it won't. But if it only asks for your city and your state, that's going to be required. So. In the city and stuff. I don't remember though because it's been a while. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. It shouldn't ask for your address. It should only ask for your city and state. Because there's people here that's international, right? Tony's in Africa. There's other people that are, in Mexico that are tuning in. So in order for this community to make sense, this new one, we have to know what regions people are in. So yeah, anyway, we talked about the Black Jobs Report. Please, please, please stay proactive because things are going to get worse before they get better. Let's quickly talk about, because we've been on for an hour, 6 minutes. We're going to get through the rest really quickly. Start understanding that some of your favorite media platforms, programs will probably go away. And when I say favorite, I mean, favorite that are targeted to positive Black conversations, right? I don't know what's going to happen with TV One. I don't know what's going to happen with BET. I do believe there's going to be specific changes with BET. I was looking at TV One stock. It's a penny stock now. It's I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to sustain at being $1.50 or $1.60 per share. And I didn't check to see how many shares are outstanding, but saying all that to say, the valuation of the company is kind of paltry. And if they don't have big financial backing, private backing, I don't know how they're going to sustain. The same with BET. Quite a few of the executives that I know over there have left since the BET Awards. There are some changes that are going to happen. We quickly talked about two of the programs being put on hiatus, which is the BET Award, the Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Awards. So we're going to have to understand that, what is that going to mean as it relates to cuts in Black media? It's going to also mean less content or less, I don't know what's going to mean for Tyler Perry, but Black creators, Black directors, Black writers, Black producers are going to have a harder time finding outlets to put their information, right? They want to force us all on Tubi. I have my issues with Tubi. They're owned by Fox. Y'all do what y'all want to do. Pass no judgment. I will not support that platform. But that's where a lot of Black creatives are going because they're making money off of us, right? They're making money off us. So we have to we're going to need to get used to seeing more and more of these media outlets going away. We talked about some of the events too, like Curlfest. And there was another event that I heard just went away. Oh my gosh, and I can't think of it right now. But these sponsorship dollars are gone. They're dried up. Black corporations like McDonald's, like and some of the other Fortune 100, 500 companies are not supporting these events anymore. They're not where they used to. Let me just give you an example. Let's just say a lot of the spending from the title and major sponsor at the Essence Festival were 7 figures plus, right? Well, low 7 to mid 7, high 7. That's not happening anymore. And so if you know about production costs, when you have an event that requires talent, that requires lighting, that requires all the things, right? Insurance, security, setup, breakdown, all of that, someone needs to cover those costs. And ticket sales don't normally cover the cost. The ticket sales may cover the cost for some of the talent, but the rest of the stuff has to be paid for. If you don't have big companies supporting you, you do not have an event. It's just that simple. And so many of these companies are bowing and caving because they have government contracts, right? Or they want to be part of the club. They want to get invited to the house on Pennsylvania Avenue and the other one in Mar-a-Lago. So a lot of our favorite events will probably go on hiatus if they're targeting our community. We talked about everything, I think, except the Obama and Gayle King. The one thing I want to say about those two things, please don't be distracted. They are aiming to get us angry and upset. And I'm just going to share this cover. Enter stage. So if you haven't seen this week, told you what a week it's been. France 24 is a good site. The DOJ to open grand jury probe into Obama officials over Russiagate. And basically, it has already been determined that they can't really do anything to Obama because he's protected. But going after the people in his cabinet, it's all to incite riot. It's all to, just like everything, so many things that are coming out now are a distraction to, this whole list that they are trying to make go away. And so, again, when you start seeing more and more of these things, these news stories come out about what they are going to say about Obama, or even, let me just, like Gayle King, ignore it, because they are literally doing this to cause some type of racial tension. Even the Levi and American Eagle commercials between the White Girl and Beyonce are drumming up racial tension. We see Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, like they are intentionally doing this. And we just need to be wise and not fall for the okie doke. And, oh, good, Cynthia's getting her instructional design certification. Oh, good, good, good for the project you told us about during our Flawless meetup. Yes. But congratulations on that. So yeah, so we just need to not be caught up. That's what I'm going to say about those stories, because again, I'm in a place where everybody watches the news all the time. No matter whose house I go to, the news is on. And it's like, did you hear about them trying to come after Obama? Did you hear? And it's what they want. They want us not paying attention on things we should be paying attention to, like staying ready so we don't have to get ready, like making sure. So we kind of talked about the tariffs, but the tariffs are going to have a huge impact on us. We didn't really go over. That's going to be my last point, because I did want to bring that up. But the tariffs are definitely going to impact us in ways that many of us, child, are not even paying attention to. So when you think about just even clothes and shoes, a lot of the textiles that we get now have a anywhere from 10, 15 to 30, 40% tariff attached to it. And I don't care what any of these companies say, they're going to pass on those costs to us. And so when you think about even lumber, right? So, oh gosh, I got to order this stuff now. So if you're getting work done, if you need work done on your house, get the lumber now. They're even talking about how like things like dairy, if you're eating or if you indulge in dairy, those products are going to go through the roof. And then Tony shared with us how, child, China's already like, you know what? Let's create this whole international, what was it, currency or whatever, payment system. So we don't even have to deal with them if need be, right? With all these other countries. And so let's just go ahead and especially, I think the best thing here is just to tell people sharing is caring, right? Find ways. Now, this is where I do believe like local communities have the power and the strength, where you can, you know, what those like trading things, like, you know, where you could come together depending on your community. Listen, everybody doesn't live in a community that's so open, but local communities, when it comes to increased pricing, where you can share. Do y'all remember back in the days? And if you watched like Good Times and all of those things, you go next, you got a cup of sugar. Yeah, baby, here's a cup of sugar. And when you needed 2 eggs, you went and got 2 eggs. Like that is the type of community building that I hope we know we need to build, especially in our local communities. But it is so critical and so crucial to go beyond that. Because number one, so many people don't have that in their communities. We have since, some of us then got money, honey, and then moved into the suburbs where there may be 1 or 2 of us in the neighborhood, right? Yeah, that's not going to be that beneficial if you need to, build community, right? Local community. But for those of us that do still have like local communities, make sure, and I said this back in November, those neighbors that you never speak to, start speaking to them. People on your floor, if you're in a building that you never, chatted with, start chatting with them. Start building community, because there was something, what was it? This is the biggest tariff increase since the Depression, since 1933. The writing's on the wall, y'all. The writing is on the wall, and I want us to continue to be in community and continue to, if you see something, say something. I appreciate, all of the people, the comments, the ones that, come and share regularly in the comment section, because it really, you never know who you're going to influence. You never know who you're going to, who's going to see something that you say that will spark something. So if you're doing something, you will spark others to do it too. And so again, me coming back, still talking about what is going on is simply because I'm seeing how serious this is getting. I'm seeing not only from not only from just we need to leave, right? We need to get our money right. We need to future proof our income. We need to, that's why we're bringing back the investing conversation, because through all the chaos and confusion, there's opportunity. And a lot of that opportunity lives in the stock market, yeah. Yes, it does. And so I didn't really talk about Apple. I will say this about Apple, and I think I misquoted. I think I said 100 million earlier while I was dodging some trucks, but it's $100 billion commitment that Tim Cook announced. Thanks for the reminder. That Tim Cook announced, and what that is going to probably mean, again, this is all new. So yeah, Apple is committing $100 billion to U.S. production. And while it may sound like, oh, this is great, the U.S. they're bringing things back to, the country, there are multiple negative implications. And one of that is pricing. Let's just talk about pricing. The pricing of their goods, services, well, primarily goods, but more than likely services too, will definitely skyrocket, because the cost to do business is going to skyrocket. And Tim Cook was very vocal, and his team was very vocal, like the difference in costs if you have something manufactured here versus if you have something manufactured in China. And so that's first and foremost. But when you also think about their investment, if I'm not mistaken, they're committed to also, there's something going on in Texas, y'all. We haven't talked about that yet, but the investment is regionally concentrated, like mostly Texas. And so when you talk about how does that benefit us nationally, does it? I don't know. And when you talk about the jobs that's going to be created, people are like, oh, it's going to be more jobs here in the US. Yeah, these jobs are going to be specialized jobs. These are not going to be, they're not going to help move the needle when it comes to Black unemployment. Let's just say that. It's not. And so while, I have faith, I have some faith in Tim Cook, because they are a multi-trillion-dollar company, right? So 100 billion, okay, here you go, right? I don't know if that's the end all be all. I don't know what they're not sharing, but I do know that he is a man of inclusion. He himself is part of a class that is being demonized. And I do know he was he's very much into hiring from all ethnic groups, and not from a DEI standpoint, but this person definitely qualifies. But now seeing that it's necessary for him to make concessions in order to see his company grow, because of everything he would have to go through if he continued to challenge the company. I don't know if it would survive. Like, I don't know. So anyway, saying all that to say, what can we do when it comes to these companies caving? Be selective on the ones that you support. Do your research on who you support. There's always the buzzwords, like y'all are boycotting, and talking about Target, but y'all still paying for a Paramount Plus subscription. I don't get it. Or you're still running to Walmart, who was the first to get rid of their initiative. They were the first to start locking up Black hair care products. Like, listen, at the end of the day, I don't really get into the weeds of who you support, when you support it, how you support it, if you have to support them. I know what I stay away from, and I know what I still support, right? And so, again, this is not to pass judgment. It's just don't, go around, all holier than thou because you haven't shopped in Target since the beginning of the year, but you're still, again, paying to get Paramount Plus, or you're still going shopping other places that have similar Sam's Club, like just so many. And I don't want to keep calling out companies because there's so many of them. I did a whole video on on how these companies that we are not talking about have taken the same oath to get rid of diversity, inclusion, all the things, but we're focused on one or two. And so there's also a website. I haven't shared that yet. Let me go ahead and share that now. How long we've been here? There's this one website that I just want you to be aware of. It's a scorecard. Oh my goodness. What is it? It's 17. What's the year? Is it 1742? 1742. Oh, you know where I could find it? Okay, it's in my I was on Safari looking it up. But it is literally 17. Okay, here it is. I was doing .org. Sorry, it's .com. It is, let me just pull it up. And then if you have any questions, put them, because we're about to say goodnight. But let me just remove this and then add this new screen. So if y'all are not aware of these things, again, this is why I try to say, please subscribe to the Heritage newsletter, like all the things I talked about before. This right here, it's the 1792 exchange. Exposing bias to help America's business get back to business. Engaging woke corporate leaders to help America's business get back to business. And let me show you who's the leader of this, child. Look at him. Look at Stephen. Reference to Django Unchained. Look at our little Stephen, child. I'm not even going to play. You can check out this video on your own. Advocating for free exercise, free speech, and free enterprise. But their whole mission is to, it says steer back to neutral, but they want to remove they want to punish any company that is involved in DEI, and they're doing scorecards. So let me just quickly show you this. So they'll list the company. You could search the company. So let's just say, let's just go through this. I'm not going to search. So Verizon, and it gives you a grid too. Hold on. View. It gives you a grid. I think yellow means neutral, green means they're great. So wherever you see green, that kind of means companies that are saying middle finger to Black and brown people. And you could see by the commitments that they make. So they'll list, this is really to expose companies and pressure companies into falling in line with where they are or what they want. And that means complete removal of any type of advancements for minorities, people of colors, LGBTQ, all of that, women. So check this out. So IBM removes its endorsement of the so-called Equality Act, which legalizes men and women's spaces. They also no longer uses the term Latinx, which is not a word that the government uses anymore. These are highlights for this organization. Dissolved its DEI department. So if you really want to know where a company stands, go ahead and go to the 1792exchange.com and you can see who you should maybe reconsider supporting, and maybe you should not. And so I just want to see AT&T ends its DEI quotas in its career development programs and scholarship programs and supply chains. No longer has a DEI officer. End all DEI training. Stop filling out the so-called corporate equity index. Remove pronoun pins from its employee style guide. Ensures all AT&T sponsorships align with business priorities. Remember, for those of you that were in that live where I shared how when they sponsor now, you can't say Black event, you can't say minority event. They give a whole new way you have to communicate when it comes to sponsoring events. And it's absolutely, so why is BlackRock red? BlackRock will no longer discriminate based on race and sex hirings. Memo to employee. Yeah, so you can go through this and see what companies have fallen, in line. They still have Target as neutral, as yellow neutral. Yeah. So again, go ahead. Meta is red. What? McDonald's is yellow. Nissan. Okay. So yeah, take your time, check it out. A great resource instead of, pounding your chest that you are not shopping at Target, but you're shopping, AT&T. I don't know if that's the flex that you think it is. I really don't. I don't think it's the flex that you think it is. So no, that's why I don't make judgment, because I know it would be too hard for the average person to navigate all of the companies that are caving or going to cave. It would be too difficult, too challenging in your day-to-day lives. I do think you should make some stances where appropriate. But again, who am I? So yeah, wait, what you said, please take a look at the app. Good. Unite us. I will. Neutral always weighted in their favor. The good thing about investing is that your money is making money for you. Thank God for Hakeem. Your portfolio has made really good gains. We're coming back because now is the time. And you're absolutely right. And I talked about it earlier today. Listen, I will no longer question when God pushes me to do things that I have no idea or didn't even think about doing. So like I said, 2020, when I started sharing with the culture about the power of compound interest, investing in smart companies and investing for the long term, that was nothing but divine, because quite a few people, many people who were part of the Investing for Independence community have made a lot of money. Portfolio is looking sweet. And that was through it dipping. We didn't just go straight up starting in 2020. We hit some lows. What was it, 2022? And if you rode the wave, you saw the power of compound interest and investing in strong companies. And some people have seen 1,000% returns. Now, this has been an anomaly these past 5 years. There has been more of an shoot than most years. But if you caught that wave, you are very, very happy and thankful. But the beautiful thing is, unless this country goes away, I mean, completely, stock market ain't going nowhere. Too much money tied up in it. That's how all of these wealthy people are still kind of deemed wealthy. Now, I do see a shift, which we'll talk more about in our community, from regular equities to other investments. And not just I see a shift, there is a shift. And we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, let me just make sure. Hakeem is a gem and he knows his stuff. We have to master this tech they're pushing. Yeah, I don't say master. Everybody's not going to be able to master it, but you have to embrace it. You have to understand it. You have to learn it, which was part of what, we taught during the entrepreneurship course. That the final graduation was just this past Tuesday. It was amazing. I'm so happy for the women who joined and finished and completed. And so we are bringing that back again, but understanding that, and I posted this back in 2021, I want to say, it might have been 2020. It was a quote. The last 20 years, software ate the world. The next 10 years, AI will eat software. That was 4 or 5 years ago. I posted that. AI is out of here. It's out of here, and there's nothing we can do about it. You can be mad about it. You can be like, oh, I don't want to use it. You have to understand it. Use it for your benefit where you can. Invest in smart companies that are leading or about poised to lead in those industries, and be safe at the same time. So we'll talk more about that. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, that's going to be part of the announcement as well. I put the link in the chat earlier. If you missed it, if you look in the description, it's the first link in the description. Once you provide your information, you will be on the newsletter. If it's asking for your exact address, I don't want your exact address. It should just be asking for city and state. And if it's asking for your address, I'm going to check as soon as I disconnect from this live. We will make that edit, and then you can come back later. So within the next 20 minutes or so, 10 minutes, I would say, you should be able to log in. But I don't think it should not be asking for your address. But yeah, so I, again, wanted to definitely continue to keep the community up to speed. I want us to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. I want us to understand that feelings don't change facts. So it doesn't matter what you feel about how messed up this is. The fact is, it is. And we need to just be proactive and making sure that we keep our families, ourselves, and our communities as safe as possible. And so if there's no more questions, I see a new comment came. Oh, y'all are talking to each other. 100% correct. Okay. So yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for the gems that were dropped as part of the Gem Nation. If you're listening and you're not subscribed, I keep the comments for subscribers only, because when I'm talking serious, I don't have time. I don't have time for the trolls or anything else. But just become a member of the Gem Nation, subscribe to the channel, and you too can participate with the comments. Until we meet again, which I'm not sure when that's going to be. I have some pre-produced content that's going to, what's the date? Thursday? Yeah, I have some pre-produced content that's going up, I think, tomorrow. I'm going to try to come back this weekend, but I'll let you know. Check out the community tab for the posts when I go live. and turn on notifications so you'll know. Anyway, until the next time, have a great evening and a great weekend. Take care.